No, but it's deep. It's about Idi Amin. Listen, the Black Panther movie is about Idi Amin. You can't deny me. If you haven't watched it, you don't have nothing to say. Watch it first, then you can come and debate. And then obviously you wouldn't have nothing to say because you would say, wow, I didn't know this. The Black Panther, it's about Idi Amin. Check it out. Not the movie, you watched it before. Check out our episode on YouTube where we unraveled it. Just type in Black Panther Precise, like I'm sure it would show up. Very good. So Idi Amin data now is showing the boxers when you go into the international community, when you have to go to Korea, when you have to go to Japan, when you have to go to wherever you go, especially when you go to Europe. Just know that your enemy is the referee. And when he says the referee, you know, he means those who are charged to judge and conduct the fight. So the referee can rig the fight in a way that the person he wants to lose will lose and the person he wants to win will win. The referee can turn his eye. You never watch wrestling? When somebody just throwing a chair in the ring. Interestingly, these things don't happen in real sports and boxing, and so you just don't see these things. But in professional wrestling, as it's called, somebody come and talk to the referee, and the referee turn his back. And then another fella throw a hammer in the ring and conk, knock you out. And then all of a sudden, the referee turns back around and says, hey, what happened here? Man, hush your mouth and count the man out. Well, 1, 2, 3, bing, 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 he won. But that's professional, so-called professional acting Hollywood wrestling that you see on television. WWF or WWE and the other stuff. Very good. But as a boxer now, because remember Idi Amin is undefeated, you know. He's an 8-time boxing champion of Uganda. Undefeated. So he's showing the boxers now as president of Uganda. He's also showing them he was the captain of the rugby team. And if you tackle him, you could break all your bones just for tackling him. He didn't do you nothing. Just trying to stop him. The only way to defeat the referee that is against you, and not just you, you know, and against the country is to win by knockout. So it's not just you. This is politics here. Idi Amin Dada was a threat to the world, a threat to colonialism, a threat to neo-colonialism. Ain't nobody to play with. When he drove out the Asians, the General Blair, not General Blair. Yes, General Blair. No, not when he was to execute the British diplomat, Bob Hill. Yes, General Blair was in Uganda at the time. And General Blair took offense to how he thought Idi Amin was behaving. And Idi Amin took offense to Mr. General Blair as well. General Blair left Idi Amin's office, threatening military attack on Uganda. Idi Amin said, bring it on. Idi Amin said, bring it on. So this is not no joke when it comes to defending the rights of Black people, indigenous people, African people. The spirit of Idi Amin is what is needed. But because the wicked world knows that, they try to do their best to discredit him, and they put in our minds this sissy culture so that anybody like him that rises up, they don't have to look for him no more, you know. They just indoctrinate all of us. So when someone like him rise up, we, the same Black people, will say, who is he? Oh, no, we don't want him. Oh, no, we don't like him. He's going to put us all in trouble now. Idi Amin. So the people, the countries, the politicians hated Uganda, hated Idi Amin. So that's why when they went to the Olympics, when they went to the World Games, when they went to the international championships, whatever it was, whether it's basketball, football, anything, they didn't want to hear Uganda came first place. They didn't want to hear Uganda won the gold medal. They didn't want to hear Uganda gone home with the trophy. They didn't like that. So if they could rig the match, if they could spike the drinks of the Ugandans, whatever they could do, so they had to go out like a military force. They had to be prepped by General Amin and others. Hey, when you go to these places, don't even drink their water. Walk with our own water. I could imagine, because they did not want the name of Uganda to shine. You get it now? So that is why Idi Amin would tell them, hey, listen, the only way to defeat the referee who are against you and against the country is to win by knockout. So in other words, don't leave them with the choice of making the decision. When you knock somebody out, nobody can say anything. There's no debate here. He's not moving. Why are you crying? Uganda won. Ring the bell. They won.
This is the only thing. And this is the most important. You must do everything possible to win by knockout. You must knock anybody who is sparring with you in the boxing ring. This is my last. Thank you very much.
Very good, very good. The voice of General Amin. So I mean, of course, as I would have said, this very said documentary is one that they would have banned from the YouTube. And it's so interesting that there's nothing at all wrong with the documentary, you know. Just telling you the truth. But because they hate Idi Amin so much, they don't even want the truth. Nothing, you know, there's no curse word, there's nothing in the documentary. But just the truth. Just being with Idi Amin, no extra lies. Just being with him. And they don't want that to be featured. You put up this video, they take it down. What a wicked world. That's why I don't play with these people, you know. That's why we have Radio Anu, you know. That's why we have Radio Anu. You know, anything you put on YouTube, YouTube owns it. That's why we have, even when you take it down, that's why we have Radio Anu. Let me just remind those of you who are not on Radio Anu, who are listening to us on, where are we? Where we broadcast? Those of you who are listening to us on Facebook and YouTube, this whole program tonight will not be aired on these platforms. These are the same platforms that refuse to keep this same video that we are presenting up. You understand? Yeah, them same platforms here. Right. They're not revolutionary platforms. Right. So when we seal off of these platforms, make sure you join us on Radio Anu for the completion of this program, because we're going to be going into a mystic vibes that many people don't know about Idi Amin. Yeah, his cousin planned an attempted coup. Well, planned a coup, but I would say attempted. He attempted it because it didn't happen. And the outcome of it will surprise many people. And that is to show you how sensitive and loving Idi Amin is, but nah, they're not going to tell you this at all. But anyway, listen to this now before we go to that.
You know, their economic is in chaos completely. I think if I am really British, I could run to France and ask the financial and assistant in France. It is just your neighbor there. You should help them. Like I am very far away from London, but I am helping them. I am collecting. I am appealing for everybody in the world to assist the British. We made a collect of over 43,000 sheep.
Now, this is what myself and Kes Westmore was speaking about previous evening. So Idi Amin is saying at this time here that the British economy is in chaos. I guess Britain was going through some kind of hard time there. The British economy is in chaos. And he himself, Idi Amin Dada, he started a fund called Save the British Fund. And he would have, on the video, you see people lined up and they're bringing goats and lorries of food and all kinds of vegetables, as the king say. You know, and he don't want them to spoil. So he's showing the interviewer here that, listen, we have raised tens of thousands of pounds. I myself would have given 10,000 pounds for my own savings to the Save the British Fund. Now, interestingly, you know, if you don't understand, maybe you think that, you know, if you don't know what's going on, you wouldn't really comprehend how Idi Amin Dada works. The relationship that he had with Britain at that time. Remember, it's the same Britain, he just not executed, but he was threatening to execute Mr. Barbahill. But I don't think that came as yet. But the same Idi Amin Dada, he just drove out the Asians. That would have happened by this time. So, of course, relationship with Britain was not basically the best. We know that. In fact, Britain was quite upset with him. You know, he's saying he is the king, the true king of Scotland, and he's the queen of England's termite. And they say that he would have given himself medals, British medals that nobody gave to him. So I mean, who is this brother here? What's his problem? That's how they looked at him. So when he's saying now he's gathering Ugandans together, you know, to bring food and vegetables and packing up lorries or trailers or whatever it was, and he himself gone into his bank account to send money to Britain, to help the British people that are starving. Now, Britain didn't take it. Britain didn't even acknowledge it. And I'm saying that I know that he knew that they wouldn't take it. But that's just how he operates. That's why they try to paint him as this buffoon and this clown and this comedian. And he does laugh things off too. He likes to laugh things off. But yet still extremely serious. You ever check Idi Amin Dada when he's not playing around? Well, he never playing around, you know. But when he's not laughing and he's telling you how the thing go. Go and watch some of these old flicks that they have on the YouTube when he's serious. Which he always is. But when he's not laughing. To me, this is a bit of mockery.
But I am helping them, I am collecting, I am appealing for everybody in the world to assist the British. We made a collect of over 43,000 shillings.
We made over 43,000 shillings. And now hear this now, the woman is going to ask him 43,000 shillings. And what did Mr. Heath say about that? Mr. Heath was the Prime Minister of Britain at the time. And Idi Amin is going to say, he didn't reply. And just the way he said, you know, it's just this I would consider very genuine yet still innocent sort of manner in which he did it, yet still with a smirk. He said he didn't reply.
I am collecting, I am appealing for everybody in the world to assist the British. We made a collect of over 43,000 shillings.
And what Mr. Heath said?
Mr. Heath.
About this collect?
He said he hasn't replied to me yet. Yes, I am very annoyed, I'm waiting.
Mr. Heat, what did he say? Mr. Heat, yes. He said he hasn't replied yet. I'm very annoyed. Yeah.
Since the British, we made a collect of over 43,000 shillings.
And what Mr. Heath said
Mr. Heath,
about this collect?
he said he hasn't replied to me yet. He has, yes. I am very annoyed. I'm waiting for his reply so that I have requested him for airplane so that I can send the food, because some people donated food lorry of vegetables, 3 tons, to be given to the friends in Britain, but he hasn't sent airplane yet.
Maybe it would be deteriorated.
I don't know. It's up to him, because I had sent on the very day they donated the food. I have very many friends in Britain. It is only the problem I had put to them. That is why they have more problem. You see, there I'm trying to help. Even myself, I donated 10,000 shillings from my own saving to save the British fund. We have opened the fund here, Save the British Fund.
10,000 shillings a month. That's half of the money Victoria gave him for all the slaves them to get repatriated. So now check this in. And even while he's saying this, what a broad smile on his face. Like, I mean, they're having more problems. I tell him, send a plane, because all my people have donated lorries of food. You think Britain gonna want to take any food from Uganda? Britain would prefer to see her people starve, if that was the case, than to take a sweet, a stick of carrot from Uganda. Oh yeah. I mean, at that time, or any time really, they would be ashamed like to say, no, Idi Amin sending food to feed them because they're starving. No, man, they don't want that. The Queen of England, no, man. And, but this is how the general operates. Real chess player, this is how the general behaves. Real field marshal. And know how to psychologically, or I should say how to psych out, you know, his enemies. Now, what I want to do now, and let me just say again, we're going to be coming off of all the social networks now. Now, we're going to, so engineers, let us look to locking down all of them, YouTube, all of that. So anyone that is listening to us on Facebook and YouTube, just go to the link in the description and press it, and it will take you straight to Radio Anu, where we will be continuing this reasoning here that we are doing. Well, we are already on Radio Anu, eh? This is Radio Anu, streaming to the other, we on Instagram too? Streaming to the other platforms. So those of you who are on the other platforms, I'm very happy that you would have joined us or picked us up to the frequency. But now I'm telling you to consciously and deliberately press the link and come over to Radio Anu to get the rest of this one. I want to go into Charles Arube. Now remember Charles Arube, and again, when you don't hear me anymore, just press the link and join us on Radio Anu. Charles Arube now. Remember, this is deep. This is one of Idi Amin's chief soldiers. He was his cousin too. In fact, Idi Amin dad said that his mother, that's Charles' mother, gave him to Idi Amin to take care of him, to make sure nothing happened to him. This is the same Charles Arube that would have attempted to take over Uganda by overthrowing Idi Amin. Now we all know that, you know, Africa would have gone through its numbers of a number of coups. Different countries attempted coups, literal coups. Even as we speak now, you know what's going on in Africa and West Africa. So Idi Amin himself would have taken over Uganda by overthrowing and toppling Mr. Milton Obote. Very good. And, you know, a few people would have tried, but they couldn't topple him, Idi Amin. All right. So Charles Arube now. Remember, this is his, like one of his right-hand brethren. So Idi Amin, heard of the plot to overthrow him. And he summoned Brother Charles Arube to his office, and they spoke. According to the reports, Idi Amin would have said to him, I understand that you want to overthrow me. And witnesses say that he never denied it, but he demanded that, listen, man, we need a better government. And Arube, obviously, as a Christian, and he was educated abroad, thought that he was in a better position to do so. And supposedly, the general, Idi Amin, tried to work it out, and they left in a mutual understanding that, all right, they're going to kiss and make up. And then he departed. That's Arube. Now, of course, propaganda comes in. People say Idi Amin tried to do him this, that, and the third. But honestly, the way he responded, the official response, shows that Idi Amin would not have done what the propagandists would have said. Because Arube, or Charles Arube, actually attempted to take over the country. And for whatever reason, he thought he succeeded. But the brilliant chess player Idi Amin Dada is, he purposely allowed him to think he succeeded. And then he would have entered in and surrounded him. Now, I want you to listen to this. We're going to be hearing an account from Jabbar Amin. That's Idi Amin Dada's son. And you're going to also hear from his daughter. They're going to be giving an account of when that attempted coup took place and exactly how Idi Amin Dada reacted to it. This is going to be a beautiful vibe. So family, I want you to get
Royal family, are you an entrepreneur? Are you a business owner, employer, employee, manager, owner of the business, or you're just an individual who desires to double your income, motivate your staff, follow up efficiently, or close sales effectively? Well, I have an offer for you. Join us on Thursday, the 29th of February for our online evolution motivational workshop. Learn how to get yourself, your business partners, and your staff motivated and keep them motivated, guaranteed. Learn how to increase your cash flow no matter what type of business you are involved in, which will obviously raise the standard of living. Facts. To register yourself or your team for free, visit the website priestisaacinstitute.com or email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Our online evolution motivational workshop. I will see you there. Blessed love to all our international homeschool scholars and all who desire to be a part of this wonderful program.
We are having a massive international homeschool enrollment party on Sunday the 17th of March from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Caribbean Time.
We will have special guests, live activities, free gifts for all who enroll, and a free education package for all who register.
To register for free, visit our website at priestisaacinstitute.com or send us an email at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. The International Homeschool Enrollment Party. See you there.
Soldier coming in the house, gone into his office, meetings. Yeah. According to the report, Idi Amin told them, hey, listen, this is where they are. They are actually partying. They thought they won. Go and surround them. Now listen to this. You listening?
It is midnight. Amin returns to his room. Everything has worked out according to plan. Arube thought his coup d'etat was a success, but he made the mistake of ceasing combat and going to celebrate the victory with his men in one of the barracks. Meanwhile, Amin Dada's mercenaries spread out quietly all around the area without Arube's troops realizing it. One by one, all the soldiers posted outside the building are neutralized. Once in position, Amin's men inform him that they are ready to launch the assault. Amin tells them to wait and manages to reach Arube on the phone inside the barrack.
So you see what happened? So we have them. That's it. It's just to pull the plug. We have them. I just want to show us the nature of Idi Amin, to show you how they lie so much on the guy. We have him. We invited him to our office and asked him about his attempted coup. According to the reports, he didn't really deny. In fact, he actually defended his ideology. And we said, hey, tell you what, let's kiss and make up. Let's forget about this. And he said, all right, cuz. And he went his merry way. I don't know what got in his head, but he actually attempted to take me out. Idi Amin speak. And I just played chess with him, back up, and he thought he got the victory. And while he was celebrated, I got my soldiers and said, surround him. And when I give you the orders, done them. And before they done them, they contacted Big Dad and say, yeah, we're ready now. And he said, hold on, let me talk to my cousin. And Idi Amin contacted Charles Arube. Are you with me, family? History lesson here.
He called Charles Arube.
Now, this is not no narrator now. This is Idi Amin's dad's son. Family now talking. And Arube is his family too. Jafar Amin says he called Arube.
And Charles Arube, when he grabbed the phone, he felt that the gentleman was intoxicated and he seemed to be celebrating. They're talking on phone, and with tears on his eyes while he's talking to me, Dad explained that angle. He said, my mother gave you to me and told me to look after you.
Listen.
After all this, you want to take power away from me. You come and betray me. And he's crying. I'm talking about my dad.
Yeah, you hear that? I'm glad he said that. Because listening to the story, you may say, who is who? What is it? Who sounds drunk? Who he said? Listen to me. He's telling us the story. It even sounds, listen, it even sounds as if he's getting the story from Idi Amin himself. That's the vibes. And as Idi Amin is speaking, showing Charles Arube, as I said earlier, your mother, because remember their family, their cousins. Idi Amin would be, of course, his senior cousins. And Idi Amin is saying, your mother gave you to me. I don't know when that happened. To make sure I take care of you. And look, you're trying to take the country from me. And Jafar Amin is saying that Idi Amin is saying this with tears in his eyes. Yeah, the heartless cannibal we talking about. Tears in his eyes.
When he grabbed the phone, he felt that the gentleman was intoxicated, and he seemed...
Because remember they were partying. That's Arube. They were partying at the barracks because they thought they would have won.
To be celebrating.
Exactly.
They're talking on phone, and with tears on his eyes while he's talking to me, Dad explained that angle. He said, my mother gave you to me and told me to look after you. After all this, you want to take power away from me. You come and betray me. And he's crying. I'm talking about my dad. Tears. So he was remembering a very painful thing. Charles Arube answered, it is good for a Christian who is educated to rule. He said, Charles Arube, look outside the window.
No, hold on. Before we get to the sympathetic Amin, which we already covered it, and as you could hear Jafar saying, man, when the old man recounting the story to him, he crying. But anyway, so Idi Amin is talking to his cousin and say, man, what you dealing with, man? This is how you handle me? What would your mother think? And I guess whatever Charles was saying in his drunken state, like, yo, it's too late, big dada. I got it now. And Idi Amin said, my brother, look outside the window. Tell me what you see.
Charles had put his people out. When he looked in the positions, he did not see any of his people.
Charles had put all his soldiers out. When he looked through the window, he did not see none of them. Chess we playing, eh? He didn't see any of them. Talk about military tactician. He didn't see nobody to help him.
And he saw different vehicles.
You crazy. The Olmec, eh? The Olmec. The God of War. Field Marshal General. You know, here Charles his cousin thought that he would have won. They were celebrating. What did you? This is what would have made them think. They would have had to have made some sort of decisive move and attack, and they would have seen something for them to go back to the barracks and be celebrating that they win. And again, Idi Amin, I'm sure all of this was a part of the plot. He caught Arube drunk. It's like some Bible story you're reading here. Some sort of biblical narrative. That's how these Bible stories go. The Lord make you feel that you win the battle and you're gone back and you're drunk and you're celebrating, and when you're celebrating, he just send the people in for you and slew you. And he didn't even do that right away. He removed his soldiers and replaced them with his soldiers, and then called the boss and tell him, look out the window. And then when he looked out the window, I'm sure he could have fainted.
He said, you are surrounded.
Oh, no.
Huh? when the phone went off, he called the radio call of the people outside. And they answered him, they just had a bullet inside. He had killed himself.
See? So Arube would have killed himself. The next Bible thing, them is Bible vibes. That's what Judas did to himself. He killed himself after betraying Christ. Now, just within that story, and this is a true story, this ain't no propaganda. You got it from his son, and you got it from his daughter. And there's so many things that you can analyze from that one story, at least me. Number one, the tender heart of Idi Amin. The tender heart of Idi Amin. Not just because he shed tears, but the things he would have said, you could see it's coming from a space of love and caring. Your mother gave you to me, Ras. Come on, don't do this. Your mother gave, so remember, this is Africa, you know. When Idi Amin would have made a promise to his mother, the elder, that I will take care of him. Obviously, he was in between a rock and a hard place when the same youth who didn't make no oath, he made the oath, Idi Amin made the oath to the youth's mother, when the same youth would rise up against him to take him out. Remember, it's the same thing with ARCHAEOASTRONOMY in 1960. He also was brought into the palace of Haile Selassie, ARCHAEOASTRONOMY. And he was the main instigator, or one of the main instigators, along with the Mengistu brothers. And these are not the Mengistu of 1974 now. This is another set of Mengistus. These Mengistus, boy, I'm telling you, I don't want to diss nobody, you know, because a name is a name, but I'll be quick to look over you twice if your name is Mengistu, eh? I mean, how often two Mengistus tried to take over the king in 1970 and the next Mengistu in 74, 75, they say, was the head of the Derg. And Mengistu in Ethiopia, the Mengistu from the 1975, he really came to power, you know. He wasn't the man that really started the coup, you know. Mengistu Haile Mariam Mengistu, what's his name there? Or Mengistu Haile Mariam. He actually rose to power. So even when the king came out the palace and all of that, it wasn't no Mengistu behind that, you know. Yeah, interestingly. But I'm just saying that there were two other Mengistus in 1960. I think all of them died. One was hung, and the other either killed himself or something. I think ARCHAEOASTRONOMY would have killed himself. These traitors are known for killing themselves. ARCHAEOASTRONOMY was brought up in the palace of Haile Selassie. I think he became the head of the Air Force at a time. He was sent away to study. He was almost like the king's son. When the king went to Brazil in 1960, it was said in the book, The Mission, that he left a certain amount of money with ARCHAEOASTRONOMY to assist in running the country. So even when he returned to crush the coup, and they told him it was ARCHAEOASTRONOMY behind of it, it is said that the king was not even aware of that, and even how he responded showed how perfect he was in his discipline. People didn't even know what he felt. He just moved on. That's Haile Selassie the first. So here you have another instance, and this is Africans we're dealing with here, people that honor their word. So it's not just about war or this man tried to overtake me. I'm talking about cases where you would have taken a child from their parents. In the case of Haile Selassie, and I would believe in the case of Idi Amin a bit more, you know, closer, because he was related. This was his direct cousin. And his mother would have been, I guess, like either his cousin, maybe close to an aunt or something like that. And he said, okay, mama, I will take care of young Charles. I will make sure nothing bad comes to him, and then he take Charles and bring him up to the army status and say, yeah, Charles, you're with me, eh? Remember I promised your mother, I'm going to send you to college, I'm going to do this. Idi Amin take care of the man. So when now he trying to take over Idi Amin's position, and Idi Amin hear this, say, yeah, my Charles, call him in for me. He call him in, and he ask him, what you doing? And Charles kind of give him a little vibe and say, well, you know, Dada, I'm glad you pulled me into dinner. I must say, I don't really do like how you're running the place. All right, fair enough. Listen, I'm doing a good job, eh? Look, I've done this, and I've done that. You see? Yes, I see. All right. What's your problem? Well, I think you should do that and do that and do that. All right, I will work on it. All right. So can we make peace? Yes, we make peace. Have a good day. Good day. Then to hear the man actually attempt now to take over your throne or your seat. And Idi Amin played chess with him. Whatever he did, I could imagine he said, okay, y'all stand down. Leave the office. Make them come and think they take over. Because remember, you know, they went back to the barracks celebrating and they got drunk. No disciplined soldier would do that. Remember, even Haile Selassie got, what a man named Balcha, before he became king. While he was, I think it was Rastafari. Balcha, one of these other generals who wanted to be emperor as well, were trying to fight against the emperor. And the emperor just hold a banquet for them, drunk them off. Yeah. So these fellas in the barracks were drunk. And while they were in there boozing off, Idi Amin had his soldiers come and snuff out Charles Abache soldiers, Arube, pardon me, soldiers, and replace them with his soldiers. So by the time he ready to make the phone call now, come remember, we ready to shoot him in. He making the phone call and yeah, we're dealing with. And he giving him problems. Say, well, we just had to take you out, brother. So, see you later. I hope you're halfway across Africa by now. He said, my brother, I am still at my palace. Look out your window. And when Charles looked out the window, well, as the story said, he killed himself. Yeah. And I will repeat again, another angle to the story. In relaying the story, and this is just relaying the story to his son, it brought the great tyrant, Idi Amin, the great dictator, it brought him to tears. To relay that story there to his son. I have raised over 43,000 pounds, saved the British fund. Yes, yes. And what did Mr. Heath say? Mr. Heath, yes, about his collect. He said, he hasn't replied. He hasn't replied. No, I am annoyed. I've asked him to send airplane. What the thing is this? I've asked him to send airplane. We have trolley of foods. Save the British flag. Same man that drive out the Asians. He's a serious man. Idi Amin should be the spirit that we all carry as brothers, loving, caring, beautiful, tender, yet serious, no joke, have no time to play. Killers. Yeah, man, I personally, I invoke the spirit of Idi Amin Dada within my own personal life. That's why we so love it. Hey, family, give thanks for your presence. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Oh, give thanks to Marcus Mosiah Garvey at this moment. In a few days, we're talking about the blue moon. Blue moon. Oh, you saw me standing alone. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. Take it easy. No more. Yeah, so we're going to be definitely celebrating the sealing of the August, special year 2023. Give thanks to the 23rd day of this month as well, and the opening of the Lion's Gate. What a memorable month this would have been, and the energy and the vibes that would have passed through such. Yeah, man, cutting and clearing, renting and tearing all obstacles from our way. Give thanks to the strong spirit of Marcus Garvey with us. Give thanks to the Olympic vibration, man, cutting and clearing and moving all obstacles, the God of war. Give thanks to the Olympic calendar. Give thanks to the red, gold, and green, the red, black, and green on the 13th of August. Yeah, glorify and give thanks continually, Give thanks to the emancipation, the Menelik Earth Strong. Glorify Akabika, man, for his Earth Strong as well. They celebrate Vishnu Earth Strong at this time in the month of August. As I said, the king Isapir, as the Rasses in Dudley would say, Isapir. Yesterday, the 27th of August, that's disappeared, by the way, Isapir. So what a strong and powerful month. And give thanks to the strength. And give thanks for Idi Amin Dada. And give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Family, hey, listen, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And it takes some to realize the real lives that are amongst us. Enough vibes we have for you right here on Radio Anu. Don't go nowhere. Give thanks. Rastafari.
Problems as a minister, as a governor, as a high ranking governmental officer. This is the one point which I must tell you. You must be concerned in planning ahead for your ministry. Nobody is to plan for you, but it is you with your permanent secretary and the whole officer under your command to plan for you, for your minister in advance. Not general mean to tell you that you go and plan this and this for your ministry. You should not be like in Ministry of Foreign Affairs I'm speaking. Not even now when the Tiang was there, because some people who are rotten, they are there since Tiang was there and also is there. These people I never been informed since the former regimes. What they know is to educate people in the common man's charter only, but not proper educating people of the world, the policy of the government, because this I know direct from international people whom have been sending, have been informing me that the people have been not educated outside to know what actually is happening here in Uganda. And this is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This is the weakness of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. To manage a woman. We have got 4 managers and we have got another 2 assistant managers. And another point here I wanted to say, there is a CIA agents through Africa, black Africans who are coming here. And you should know that spy is a criminal. To be a spy is very bad. And your case is death, completely sentenced. This is, I must make it absolutely clear. If I found anybody is a spy, and any spy is found, and anybody is coming in this cover, see, I want you to see that everybody must be checked his poll tax for about 3 or 5 years. And if he is found to be spy, his case is firing squad. He must be handed straight to military police, must be dealt with the military tribunal, because the case of spying is very serious. Anybody found is a spy, his case must be dealt with military tribunals. Once is confirmed, even military tribunals should not waste time of making law whole day discussing about one person who is a spy. Must be shortcut. If minister find him, don't even report to me completely. I don't want the ministers should wait anything which he thinks it is good for his ministry is still waiting authority from me. I don't want. Then if that you are not a minister, you are not making decisions. A minister is a person who must make a decision himself, not to wait for General Amin. You can only inform me what you are doing, what has happened. I feel very happy. Because if I am to make a decision all the time, I will be very annoyed. If you are not well briefed, come back to me, telephone me at 5 o'clock or midnight, you telephone me. Some ministers have been telephoning me. I've been answering them. My telephone is simple. If you telephone me at 2241, whether at 3 o'clock in the morning, I get your telephone. I speak to you. And if you want a briefing, I can brief you completely until you understand. And when you go there, any reporters wants to ask you about Uganda, I think you are well equipped with all informations. You can brief them. You should not fear. You should not say, no, it is not my duty. If you are that, you are not Ugandans. And if I am to get this, you are not a minister at all.
blessed love to one and all. Give thanks for your presence with us. Tiger's name. Ring the bells of joy, jubilation here today. Honorable Priest Isaac with you. All praises. Take it. Let them see. Not that. The sound that the angels must enjoy. You may say, oh, Honorable Priest, how do you know that the angels will join this sound? I'm for joining the sound. And I'm God in flesh. That they are, you got to keep in mind that I, according to the scriptures, you know, I know there's a scripture, he was created a little lower than the angels. Well, yeah, I know that. But the original man, the angels bow down before the Adam, you know. So when it says that we are gods, don't take it lightly. So it is up to you to proclaim who you are within yourself. But family, give thanks again for your presence right here with us in the Tiger's Nest. What a beautiful entrance into the program, keeping the theme for this strong, somewhat, with the Orthodox tradition, the Orthodox Church, and, you know, from the Johannes conversation and the different doctrines within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and just our discussion with our good brothers as well of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church as well. And of course, don't forget, family, the brothers and sisters of the St. Mary's Church of Zion right here in Antigua, and their GoFundMe efforts towards the establishing of their foundation and ratifying their land. But you know, even as you listen to the celebration of the church, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and the priests and the clergy, and all dressed in white, and they're celebrating in such joy and such power, you know, you have to respect that, as it is an African tradition. You see, this is the mystic as it relates to African homegrown vibes. You know, you talk about homegrown, you talk about ganja, you talk about homegrown. Well, anything that is homegrown, it has a specific energy, a specific vibe. Do you know that there are certain celebrations that are kept within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church that are not kept in any other church, not even the Orthodox churches? Maskel is one of them. The commemoration of the true cross of Christ. You heard when Brother Saifa Selassie was with us. Oh, man. When he was speaking about the Emmanuel Lidet and the Baal Lidet, some serious vibes, the 7th and the 8th. Where are you going to get that? Even when the brothers were with us, hailing Mikael and brother Amde Barhan Jack, and they were speaking of the whole thing of the Jordan rolling back and certain different heights, and that you're not, and the Jordan bubbling up at different levels that you would not get from regular Christianity as such. So you could see, again, as an African tradition, I think Timkat as well might be very unique to Ethiopia as well, but as an African tradition, you could see, or at least you could hear, the utilization of the drums, which is an African symbol in general. That is one thing that is African, the drums. And the talking drums and the djembe drums and the kete and the funde and the bass drum and the Ethiopians with their drums, boom, boom, boom. As a church, you don't go into no church and see nobody licking no drum. I mean, well, the modern day evangelists, you don't know the Pentecostal, strike it up, Jim. Ding, 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 praise the Lord. Oh, that's a different thing. But we're talking about the ancient theater stuff. Bells, bing, bing, bing. That's as far as they would go. It's the Ethiopians. It's the Ethiopians, the Africans that bring out the drum sets and tree drum being played. And we don't really like beat drums, you know. We don't beat the drum. We play with the drum and have fun with the drum. Give thanks. We go to war with the drums because the drums represent the weapons. Yeah, you kill the wicked with the drum. You give life to the sleeping and the dead with the drum. You bring dry bones together with the drum and put sinew and flesh on them and they walk and say, yes, I'm alive. Naya Bingi order. So give thanks for the Naya Bingi sound of what was taking place here with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And, you know, really, I actually want to keep that trend this evening. I want to kind of actually go into a reasoning as it relates to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church with an understanding. And this discussion really is for, of course, people like yourself who are genuinely seeking an understanding of most things, if not everything, especially if you are holding on to a faith, especially if you're holding on to a concept, a tradition. You may be already, you may consider yourself already grounded in wherever you may be, but yet still, because you're genuine and open-minded, you still would like a clarity on many different things. And I know ones were reaching out and looking for an understanding with, especially when it comes to the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition. I think even with the discussion with Saifa Selassie, and him saying he was a deacon. I think so. A few ones were a bit moved, like what in the Orthodox Church. I mean, I cannot speak for the king. Maybe one of these days I would bring that up. It was not no heavy concern. It just amongst just the understanding. Basically, you could see many ones were just looking for clarity with many things. So I'm just going to let the spirit guide as it relates to the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, because we must understand, a family, what is history here now as it relates to the church. You know, I must return back to Brother Saifa Selassie again, for he highlighted some serious diamonds a few evenings ago. Monday evening it is, as again it relates to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and Haile Selassie I. So we must comprehend Ethiopia, the language, we must use the language correctly, the Ethiopian Bible. Many ones would say Haile Selassie says that Ethiopia has the oldest version of the Bible. Well, that's not what he really said. He said, we in Ethiopia have one of the oldest versions of the Bible. Now, listen to me good. Ethiopia may actually
Royal family, are you an entrepreneur? Are you a business owner, employer, employee, manager, owner of the business, or you're just an individual who desires as double your income, motivate your staff, follow up efficiently, or close sales effectively? Well, I have an offer for you. Join us on Thursday, the 29th of February for our online evolution motivational workshop. Learn how to get yourself, your business partners, and your staff motivated and keep them motivated, guaranteed. Learn how to increase your cash flow no matter what type of business you are involved in, which will obviously raise the standard of living. Facts. To register yourself or your team for free, visit the website priestisaacinstitute.com or email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Our online evolution motivational workshop. I will see you there. Blessed love to all our international homeschool scholars and all who desire to be a part of this wonderful program.
We are having a massive international homeschool enrollment party on Sunday, the 17th of March from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time.
We will have special guests, live activities, free gifts for all who enroll, and a free education package for all who register.
To register for free, visit our website at priestisaacinstitute.com or send us an email at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. The International Homeschool Enrollment Party. See you there.
A Christian empire we're dealing with. Ethiopia, the Aksum Empire, Aksumite Empire. To be even more specific to it, you gotta get into these little detailed specifics. Good, 4th century AD, follow me good. So according to the history now, it was people who brought this here to Ethiopia, and not only brought it to Ethiopia as if it was an idea they had and it flourished there. They came with something intact to the point that the same Frumentius could literally become like the first saint, if I'm not mistaken, and as such like an archbishop. And at that time, the Coptic Church, which is very important in this whole dialogue here, this whole, reasoning, but yet still to some degree back and forth. But I'm the only one here, so it's a monologue. But in the whole reasoning here, Coptic Egypt now is almost like considered a mother or a parent to Ethiopia. So this is why Coptic Egypt in the north would consecrate the archbishop, follow me good, and send this archbishop from Egypt, Coptic Egypt, to Ethiopia. And this has been going on for centuries, 1600 years. Coptic Egypt was not a Christian kingdom nor empire. Coptic Egypt was a country that had a strong Christian presence, as it still does, right? And saw itself to some degree as the mother of the Christianity in Ethiopia. So in other words, for 1600 years, Ethiopia was accepting their high priest, their Abuna, their chief bishop coming from Egypt. And when his time was up,
When he died, a next one would come from Egypt, and this happened for 1600 years until the reign of Emperor Haile Selassie the First. That's a serious thing. You mean to tell me, you know what 1600 years is? That's 100 years, 16 times. That's 1,000 years, plus 600 more. Almost 2,000 years. Coptic Egypt has been sending the bishops, according to history, the high priests from Egypt, from the time of Fermentius, pardon me, until the time of Haile Selassie I. That was stopped. 1955. Again, Brother Cypher Selassie, beautiful program he did with us. Highlighted, I'm just kind of, stretching out his information now for clarity so you can see the power that was expressed that evening. So now you have 1955. Abuna Basilis, the first high priest, the first Abuna from Ethiopia. Okay. According to the history, he did go to Coptic Kemet, Egypt, and got his blessings, and that was it. And returned 1955, the 25th anniversary of Haile Selassie I coronation. You have the first archbishop, the first high priest, the first Abuna of Ethiopia, from Ethiopia, since the time of the Iesus Christus. And this is taking place in the time of the return of the Iesus Christus. In fact, he set up the deal and made again Archbishop Abuna Basileus or Basilius the first archpriest of Ethiopia, from Ethiopia. So again, let's return. Why is it that the king had to do that? How did Ethiopia come to be this ancient Christian kingdom, Lalibela? So what do you mean, in Lalibela time all of this was going on? The Zagwe dynasty, King Dawit the first, the one that, or is it the second? I think it's the first that found the king that the cross of Christ, where Maskell began, and all the great kings after the time of Christ, and even empresses were they, in their time, were they recipients of the Archbishop of Ethiopia coming from Coptic Egypt? Well, according to the history, this is what it was. Well, it stopped with Haile Selassie I. That's powerful. That's serious. Back to King Izana now. Now, King Izana accepted this Christianity as different as Ethiopia's Christianity is, because it's different than the Coptic Christianity, and it's different than the Greek Orthodox Christianity and the Syrian Orthodox Christianity. Now, Armenia, if I'm not mistaken, is the first Christian kingdom according to history. But of course, I mean, these kingdoms didn't last out nearly the time as Ethiopia. That's why you see Ethiopia is the oldest Christian country and nation and kingdom specifically. So it went out. So as far as first, historically, you might be a little ticklish for you to say it's the first
of anything of that sort, but it went out. That's why I began by saying, by showing you how Haile Selassie placed the Bible. Clearly shows you that it's one of the oldest. Now scholars would argue that it is the oldest, but the emperor chose to say it's one of the oldest. So if you were to say Ethiopia is the first Christian country according to history, you might run into a bit of trouble there. Even if you were to say it's the first Christian kingdom, there are scholars that could debate you on that. But for sure, it would have outlasted them all by miles, several laps, in reality. But this is good. That's contemporary history. Because Haile Selassie I himself, and this is why this point is so important. When Bill McNeil told Haile Selassie, Your Majesty, there are Christianity came to Ethiopia in the 4th century AD, I believe. That's the history. That's what you'd open an encyclopedia and read. That's with King Ezana. And listen to this before I continue. Remember the coinage during the time of King Ezana shows King Ezana on the coins with the moon, crescent moon, which is said to be the symbol of what the Ethiopians would have worshipped at the time. And then after the date of conversion, the coins showed King Ezana, but the crescent moon was removed and the cross, an Ethiopian cross, was placed in its place, in its stead, which, if you're going to use some level of leverage, evidence, something to prove, some source to prove that, hey, listen, man, we have a true story here. Well, artifacts, some of the oldest monies in the world, showing you the change of, if you want to use the term, religion. All right, so, good. So he's telling His Majesty, Your Majesty, Christianity came to Ethiopia in the 4th century AD, I believe. Haile Selassie said to him, in English, no interpreter, in English, if you read your Bible, that's what he said, you will know exactly what time Christianity came to Ethiopia. And then the narrator came over in the editing and gave a story. But in the book of Acts, you see it. It clearly shows you that Philip, the disciple of Christ, met the Ethiopian official, which is the Ethiopian eunuch. He was of the court of Queen Candace, and he the eunuch took this message. He was coming from Jerusalem. He was coming from a great feast or a great mission. And, when he passed and wanted to dip in the Jordan and everything, and Philip, he was reading the prophecy of Isaiah. And when he met Philip, he was, hey, I reading this thing and I trying to understand what it's talking about. You think you can help me? And Philip said, yeah, man. It's talking about the Lamb of God. Huh? Yeah, it's talking about the Black Christ. I know the man. He was just here, but he make a move. Because according to some scholars now, this is in 34 AD. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is Ethiopian time. I have to ask my good brothers from the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, or even Brother Rabbi Adonis or King Saifa Selassie. What is the year that Philip met the Ethiopian eunuch? But if I'm not mistaken, it's 34 AD. Now, you may say, well, here Christ 33 AD resurrected and went to heaven. That could be so. Vision them 3 years there, 3. But anyway, the point is that when Philip met the Ethiopian eunuch, even if it wasn't 34 BC, how old did Philip live to be? And if I'm not mistaken, all of these disciples came to a very bitter end, according to the history as such. So we know that it's somewhere before 50 AD then. Let's just give it a little room. Didn't go beyond 60 AD. It was early time that Philip met this Ethiopian official. And the Ethiopian official, not an Ethiopian, you know, an Ethiopian official, like a minister of foreign affairs, you know, coming back to the house, the Queen Candace. That's the first person you're gonna have to speak to when you return. You have to report to Her Majesty. And he's going back to tell her, well, listen, I just meet the dreadlocks man. And he tell me about the other dreadlocks man that burn chalice and don't eat no flesh and play Nyabingi music. That's who he tell me about, Your Majesty, Queen Kandake. That's Queen Candace, the Makeda. Not Queen Makeda, the Queen of Sheba now, but Makeda is a term that comes from Kandake, the Candace, because the Bible says that he was of the court of Queen Candace. Deep vibes. So he received this order from Philip, the man that walked with Christ. That's according to the Bible now, the book of Acts, not the encyclopedia. The encyclopedia says that Christianity came to Ethiopia about 3.5 centuries after that, 350 years after that, 350 years. Like the whole time span that people would put slavery in, that's how serious. 350 years time, a good long time, several generations, according to history. When you compare the biblical story to the encyclopedia history, it has a 350-year gap. You understand me? That's plenty time for relevant, well, should I say recent history? Depending on what level you look at it, that's recent history. But here's my point. This is the main point. Which one is the more accurate, well, not more, which one is the accurate one? Which one is the correct one? Did Christianity come to Ethiopia during the time of King Izana in the 4th century AD, or did Christianity come to Ethiopia in the time of Philip, which is 34 AD? Keep in mind, the incident with Philip wasn't just to a regular Ethiopian. It wasn't the king, it wasn't the queen, but it was basically next to the queen. Oh, Your Majesty, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has returned. Oh, let him in. Oh, get a, have a seat, beautiful. Give me some good news from Jerusalem.
Yeah. All right. So when the man said to Haile Selassie that Christianity came to Ethiopia, according to the encyclopedia, in the 4th century AD, why did Haile Selassie tell him, if you want to know, that sounds like he didn't really know, if you want to know what time Christianity came to Ethiopia, you got to read your Bible. In fact, no, that's not what he said. He said, if you read your Bible, you will know exactly what time Christianity came to Ethiopia. Good. So this is why, again, and this is important. Now, so you may say, so which history is right? Is the history King Izana wrong? If the emperor is highlighting the history 1 year after Christ, and Izana history is almost 400 years after Christ, yet still, and remember, it's Izana history that put Ethiopia really close up there as being one of the oldest kingdoms and one of the oldest Christian country, and beating out the Roman kingdom maybe by a few decades and all of that. But if Christianity really came to Ethiopia in 34 AD, that means Ethiopia is the first everything, not one of the first everything, and not by a few decades and a few years, but by centuries. If Ethiopia accepted Christianity from the time of the Ethiopian official of the house of Queen Candace. So which one is it? Because if it is the story of Izana, Ethiopia still win out, because the debate is still strong, even with the 4th century history. Because it is a fact, everyone knows, that Ethiopia was a Christian kingdom before Rome was a Christian kingdom. But as I said earlier, according to that history, it borrowed or accepted a tradition that was given to it by 2 Greek clergymen. And then Coptic Egypt was also a guardian parent figure, as giving it its high priest for years, for a millennium plus. So that is interesting. In fact, even the text, I always bring up from time to time the history of Abba Exhibier, or Exier, I think that's his name, Exier, the individual that came to Ethiopia and translated the New Testament, or books of the New Testament as we know it, and still even as we don't know it, because there are books like the Gospel of Mary and some other books, that was translated into Ge'ez, not into Amharic, Ge'ez. Okay, good. This is an Ethiopian legend here, that this great holy man came into Ethiopia, and he was translating these gospel books. And when he reached to the book of Mary, the sun was going down, and he prayed to the Most High to spare him the light so that he could complete his work. And the Most High stopped the sun for him. And he completed the work, and when he was done, he went back and prayed and gave thanks and asked Jah to move the sun again and continue as regular programming. And it was done.
So you may be like, wow, he stopped the sun. That's amazing. Yeah, all of that's amazing, but I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about where did he bring them other books from? Yeah, the sun stuff is, yeah, it's really cool. But we'll talk about that some other time. I'm more interested in which books were he bringing to Ethiopia, from where? Who wrote them books there that he was going to translate into the Ethiopian language? Okay, you may say, well, okay, the prophets and the messengers. All right, no, I'm not arguing that. The Gospel of Thomas's book, I'm not arguing that, The Gospel of Mary, that's her book, Stop the Sun, no problem there. My point is that these books are, according to the Ethiopian legend, didn't originate in Ethiopia. In fact, it's not even a problem. It's just an interesting outlook, especially if one will argue that, well, Ethiopia has the oldest gospel. All right. You see, the emperor said, we in Ethiopia have one of the oldest. Now, you see, Ethiopia does have the oldest preserved, not just Bible, but churchical literature in general, Bibles. Ethiopia doesn't just have the oldest Bible, and Ethiopia does have the oldest Bible, by the way. You may say, well, no, but you just said the king said one of the oldest. Yes. It's the context. Like, where did the Bible start? Who first had a Bible? Again, see, this is where the argument comes in. Who first had the Bible? One would say the first Bible is the Syriac Bible. Hey, this is some serious stuff. None of these oldest Bible written in Hebrew neither. Yes, you have the oldest Hebrew Bible, but it's not a Torah. It's the Leningrad Codex, or one of these books. These are complete Hebrew texts, but they were written like 1,000 years ago. The Ethiopian books we're talking about as old as the Christianity itself, 1,600 years. A Bible. Now, yes, there may have been a Bible before that, but they can't find it. That is why Ethiopia does have the oldest Bible. So if somebody is the oldest person on the earth, not because they have the father too, but their father dead. So their father can't still be older than them. The oldest person on earth is them. So as if you could argue that there is, even the Ethiopian legend says that this brother came with the New Testament books and translate them into the Ethiopian books. So he came from somewhere with them. I think ones were saying he came from Syria with them too. Again, adding to that whole vibes of Syria, the Syrian Orthodox having an older Bible. Well, if you're following me, family, you have to dissect history properly. That's why I'm here to assist. I'm not telling you, I'm not even giving you my opinion here. Have I given any opinion? Let me think, because I don't think I've given any opinion. No, I don't think so. I'm just giving you really what's happening historically. Yeah. So, the Ethiopian Bible now, again, it's like, it's the Ethiopian Bible outlive even the Septuagint, because the original Septuagint, they don't have that, They have old Septuagints from BC time, but the Septuagint, not specifically the one that was translated by the 72 Jewish people inside of the museum, the Temple of Dionysus, with all of these scrolls in ancient Kemet, Alexandria. that Septuagint can't be found, and the Torah, for sure, that it was translated from. None of these things nowhere don't exist. The oldest manuscript, hear this man, the oldest real manuscript that signifies Bible is the Ethiopian manuscripts, and there's a lot of them. Man, the first 20 oldest Christian manuscripts must all be Ethiopians. It's not Ethiopia have the oldest Bible, you know, it's the oldest set of Bibles. One in this monastery, one in that monastery, one in the other monastery, and you go on and on before you reach somebody else's Bible. Do you understand what your brother is showing you? It's deep. So again, when did Christianity really come? Is it 34 AD or in the 4th century AD? This is what I'm saying here. Remember Haile Selassie I cut off Coptic church people coming to be the head of their church. He stopped it. With all due respect. That's Haile Selassie fulfilling that. Haile Selassie I, of all the years, centuries that priests were in Ethiopia, priests never get paid. I remember reading one time, it says 1 out of every 5 Ethiopian man is a priest or a monk. Priests don't get paid. The first time priests start to get paid was in the time of Emperor Haile Selassie I. And when the Derg took power of Ethiopia, the priests them stopped get paid, and they don't get paid up to now. I know maybe 1 or 2 of them, some high clergy thing. I don't know how the thing run, but watching a recent documentary, a priest was explaining the same thing, that we the priests used to get paid during the time of Emperor Haile Selassie. Yeah, that's exactly how the narrator said it, really. You know? And the priest was saying that, but when the Derg took over, that stopped. And hear what he's saying now. This is a recent in the sense like about 10 years ago. And he's saying that he's glad that the tourists are coming, because now the tourists are coming, they can get money. So what does that mean? That means the priests them don't get paid. It's Haile Selassie. Truly, family have to look at these things seriously, eh? The same Haile Selassie. This is why, I mean, with no disrespect to the Orthodox brothers and sisters, like you dance. But how we just overlook Haile Selassie. This is a man that saved your church. Since we're talking about our church, is Haile Selassie saved the church. Haile Selassie is who make the Ethiopians have the ability to be the archbishop of their own destiny. Haile Selassie's picture should be up in every Ethiopian Orthodox church. Not all them different colored Jesus Christ. And then Haile Selassie I at the same time, our King of Kings, is the king that would pay, literally pay, according to his instructions. The Orthodox priest should be getting paid. That's Haile Selassie I. Yeah. I think everyone knows the Ethiopian Orthodox Toeda Church is one church. Then you have the Betawi Nazarite Ethiopian Christians. Do you know of them? All right, here we go then. Now, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church that we know, even that which the emperor, the Toeda Church, the emperor is emperor of, that which he was crowned under, that whole ceremonial, well-established, beautiful vibes. That's not the Betawi. But the Betawi is an obvious and well-known express faith in Ethiopia, the Nazarites, the Batawi. You can look them up. We have spoken of them on different programs. Maybe we should speak about them more on a visual level. But the Batawi now are brothers that grow their dreadlocks. You know them, the Ethiopians with the locks, the Nazarites with the locks. That's what a Batawi is, an Ethiopian Christian with long locks. Most of them are monks. They live like hermits, some of them, and walk from place to place, from monastery to monastery barefoot, and so that's their life. The Batawi, they ain't shaving no locks. They're not biblical Nazarites that after say 7 years, they shave it and bring no dove and no pigeon. They don't do that. They carry their locks until death. The Batawi of Ethiopia. They are Ethiopian faithful Christman. The well-established Toledo Ethiopian church. Remember, the Ethiopian church is not just a church, some serious politics. That's why the emperor himself would even have a few moments of wrestling with his own church over the politics of the land, over the politics of peasantry, and giving the poor a bribe, the church, you know. Yeah. And the church, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, outside of the political arena, as you heard Brother Cypher Selassie saying, that the elders clearly said we should never refer to Jesus as Jesus. And this is why I'm calling the Brother Cypher Selassie. You see all of the European Christ expression all over the Ethiopian world now. Even the present Abuna clearly said that well, he said Jesus, he might be correct, is white because he's Jewish. But the Ethiopians choose to paint in black. I said, what is this? You've heard me talk about that. I did a program on that as well. It's on YouTube, isn't it? Not unless they took it down. They've been taking down programs, you know. But the Batawi, Nazarites. You see the brothers that were with me? As I said, they're from the old school. Them is old Rastaman that used to praise the King of Kings. These brothers used to have locks. I know several Ethiopian Rastafari brothers that joined the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. They spend a while there with the locks, and then after they say, hey, look, we gotta chop our locks. Because you can't be a high priest, you can't be a priest, you can't be too far in the deaconship in that church with your locks. Now, do you believe you can tell the Batawi, the monk, never drink wine? As the brother was saying the other evening, some of them never touch woman. You can just tell them that they have to shave locks just to come in your church and be up there. They are right. They have their own tradition. Their tradition older than your tradition. Their tradition is Samson tradition. Their tradition is ancient King Solomon tradition. Not just the lineage and all of that, you know, but the tradition. The Moses tradition. You know what I mean? Who has never cut the hair and everything? Ezekiel tradition. The John the Baptizer tradition. Elijah tradition. Aaron's beard to the skirt of his robe tradition. That's the Batawi, the man with the dreadlocks. They're not cutting the locks. But to be in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, at least to a certain degree, you have to chop your locks. So why that serious difference? If you watch some of those videos, even modern day videos of the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition, the Batawi, you see them come down out of the mountains for celebrations. Sometimes you see 3 of them together, sometimes you see 10 of them together. If if you Google them, you see pictures of them coming down. They're usually outside of the church. Sometimes they're sitting down across the road. You know, they hardly enter in, but they're still expressing their brotherhood. Every time I see that, it reminds me of when I used to, in them days, go around the biggie house strong. I still go around, but the tradition is a little different now. And I would always stay outside the tabernacle because it's supposed to take off whatever on your head when you go in the tabernacle. But these brothers didn't understand. They say, no, whatever on my head, this is the anointed turban of King Emmanuel. You understand? Yeah, that's what it is. In the same way, the Batawi, who know their position, they come and they celebrate with their brotherhood, but they're not going inside. No, I'm not saying that they don't go inside in general. I don't know. I'm just judging from my knowledge, the videos I would have watched, because I watch all, even the up-to-date ceremonies in Ethiopia, Tim Cat and so, this year, last year, 10 years ago, the time of His Majesty, you know, there are different videos, you have pictures, and anytime, and I'm looking for these things, anytime you see the Batawi brothers, you see them together and they're outside of the meat of the ceremony. The brothers with the locks. All right. No Batawi gonna be no Abuna, not unless they change something. All right. Good. The details of what happened in Queen Candace's time is much more blurry than what would have taken place in the time of King Izana. That's why I highlighted the coinage. But I'm of the strong opinion that Christianity that Queen Candace got, remember you, this did not come from Coptic Egypt as such. You see, this is why I know Jerusalem is ancient Kemet, you know. But anyway, this definitely didn't come from Greece. This came directly from the disciple of Christ himself. It's like Christ come and he have a right-hand man, and this right-hand man give the thing to the Ethiopian official. That's where it began. That's where it began. And I'm positive that that was the ancient Rastaman tradition 2,000 years ago that was sent down to Ethiopia, sent up to Ethiopia. Now here it is. That's the Batawi that's still in Ethiopia today. Now, by the time of King Izana, whether the Batawi was fully accepted or it was just there, something happened and the Greek sailors came in and gave them Christianity, according to the history. And then Ethiopia became this Christian country as we know it today. Very ancient and very churchical, very colorful, very black, very African. The Ethiopian version of it. So obviously they had to hold tight to their roots. But the Batawi, the man with the roots, I am positive that they are the first Ethiopian Christians and the real Ethiopian Christians, the same ones that were living the order that Philip got from his Christ that he gave to the eunuch. So again, you know, this is why the Ethiopian Orthodox Church needs to revere the king. It's almost like the Nation of Islam and Marcus Garvey. The Nation of Islam go around Marcus Garvey like they don't see him. when he start this stuff for them, it is deadly, man. Straight up. If you're a member of the Nation of Islam, you don't have to feel no with my brother or my sister. I'm just telling you the reality of it. Elijah Muhammad is a Garveyite. Minister Louis Farrakhan's parents, Garveyites. Malcolm X's parents, Garveyite. The whole system of the Nation of Islam, even down to its supreme captain and the fruit of Islam and all of that, that is taken off of the structure of Marcus Garvey, not Fahad Muhammad, with no disrespect whatsoever. So even Marcus Garvey, I mean, at least mention him, the man. You don't have a day for Garvey? You don't say nothing on Garvey's birthday? A picture up for Garvey? It's the same way I look at the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Haile Selassie. Okay, you're into who you're into, just like the nation. But Haile Selassie, if it was not for Haile Selassie, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church would not be the church it is now and probably would not be. The King of Kings, Haile Selassie I again, is who makes sure that the church became sovereign unto itself, the defender of the faith. Yeah, you don't have to, if you don't want to praise him, but I mean, after what the king would have done to solidify that church, if it wasn't for the Rastaman, not even the church, because of the trauma they just went through from the Red Terror to there. The church is very quiet about Haile Selassie I. It's we as Rasta force Haile Selassie out of their mouths. Yeah. When the king is who gave them their sovereignty. And the king paid the priests. How many priests do you think there were in the time of the emperor? At least 2 million. And every weekend, the man can carry home a paycheck. And I'm saying that somewhat sad, kind of, because they ain't going home, they live home, yeah, ministry and carry home what to who, yeah, but they get paid. Monk getting paid. Monk don't have to go and beg nobody no rice and peas with no bowl because they getting paid. They can go and buy their own food because they're getting paid. And they are already not spending no money, man. Them man must have a nice bank account there because they're getting paid for being priests. And since the king gone, that stuff, and we don't hail the king, we don't have a picture of the king up somewhere. And they're going to put a picture of disciples and they're not even sure if that's how they really look. More than the emperor. Where's Garvey in the Nation of Islam? You see me? Yeah, man. Oh, beautiful vibes. Keep thanks and praise. Yes, my
Blessed my family, do you have your copy of the true biblical land of Israel? No? Well, visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, and order your copy today. The True Biblical Land of Israel, originally a theological paper, proves to the reader that the land of Israel, according to the biblical geographic description, is Africa plus Arabia. Most definitely a must-read for all. And while you are at it, our other books, namely The Heavens Declare the Glory, Rastafari and the Cosmos, as well as Anu, Ancient and Modern Revisited, are definitely of interest to all. Each book goes for only $20, but when you order the 3 together, you get them for only $50. So visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us today, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Blessed reading. Give thanks. You're listening to Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spirit.